Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for joining this radio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about how corporate meetings, or business meetings generally, I guess, are degraded and brought down and turned into sort of dysfunctional, childlike wokery by the globalist crowd, but the particularly the race and gender crowd, the feminists in particular, and I just want to go through a sort of an example of that is really an analogy to how the Western world is being the once efficient Western world that was a shining example to nations and peoples and places everywhere, how that's being brought down and crushed by this silly, childlike, infantile, race feminist politics. So just talking about that. Now, in one case, here a recent case, I'm standing in for a project director that we've got on a project in a business I've got an interest in, and he's unavailable for a day and a half, I guess. So I jump into the breach on this one, and we've got a series of planning meetings that are sort of quite well advanced. The project's well along, and this is really a meeting to say, okay, where are we going? What do we need? Resources, and it's a pretty sort of high level meeting. And now all the guys at the meeting, or all the people at the meeting are straight white males. So and they're the best qualified to be there. There's no one really has got the qualifications outside of them. Now, had there been, I'd be fine with it. I don't care, if someone's what the gender and race of someone is, as long as they know what they're doing, they're competent, they can contribute, they've put in the hard work, they've got the achievements, they've got the credentials, and they, again, can make that contribution from a position of knowledge and understanding. Now, but the same applies in the reverse. I don't care if whoever the race or gender of the person is, if they're not qualified to make that contribution, then they can't attend that meeting. And that meeting is specifically to do specific things or achieve specific things. So anyway, so I turn up, and I'm not there long before a youngish woman, I don't know, about 30, I suppose, early 30s, comes in and says she wants to attend the meeting. Now, I'm not across the day-to-day stuff. The project director is doing it day-to-day, as I say, is off. So I'm trying to pick up some of these bits. So I thought, well, maybe she's already been promised a seat at the table. Maybe there are ongoing discussions I'm not privy to. So well, fine, if you want to attend the meeting, what's the purpose of you attending the meeting? And then she seemed to look a little nonplussed and didn't know what to say. And so I responded, well, look, if you don't know what your contribution to the meeting is going to be, and you don't know why you want to attend the meeting, then I don't see any point in you attending it, unless you want to sort of go away, think about it, and come back to me. So she again looked confused, eyes are darting around everywhere, and the arms fold and this sort of thing. So instead of addressing the question of why do you want to come to the meeting, what do you want to do, what do you want to talk about, and so on, her only response was, well, if you want it to be a boys' club, that's up to you. But the way she said it, there's very practiced sort of feminist lilt to the tone there. Now, given her age, now, and I'll come back and talk about her in a minute, but given her age, she's been brought up in an education system at high school and at college and university, and even in the workplace. And she's kind of one of those HR bureaucrat type people. So all her life, she's been told about the evil, wicked patriarchy, evil straight white males, Western society's evil top to bottom, women are oppressed, black people are oppressed, it's evil white men who do it, and Now she's been fed a non-stop diet of that, global warming and everything else, a non-stop diet of that probably since she started primary school, or even kindergarten, for goodness sakes. So her worldview is very much shaped by that. Anything to do with straight white males is not legitimate. It's simply not legitimate. anything that undermines or if it's a meeting of all black people, then that's fine. If it's a meeting of all women, that's fine. If it's a meeting of all gay guys, that's fine. But if it's a meeting of straight white males, not fine, not allowed, because they are evil fucking fascist Nazi Hitlers. That's why. Now, she didn't say that, but the inference was that it's simply illegitimate to have straight white males in a meeting, whether it's all straight white males or in a majority. It's just not legitimate. And that attitude came across. So I should be allowed to come to your meeting simply because it is not legitimate. I don't need a reason to come to the meeting, she effectively says. I don't have to give you a reason because you deciding whether I can come out, you're a straight white male, and that's not legitimate. So I pressed her and said, okay, well, look, if you want to come to the meeting, you have to have a reason and you have to contribute something. Now, you want to come to the meeting, that's fine. Now, and just as a side here, if she'd come to me as an ambitious young person, she's 25 years or so younger than me. If she comes to me as an ambitious young person and says, look, I really want to come to grips that I want to contribute, I want to be expert in these matters or these subjects, and I'm going to do whatever I have to become sufficiently expert or sufficiently qualified or sufficiently knowledgeable to be able to attend the meeting and make a positive, worthwhile contribution. I want to put in all that effort. Will you help me? If she was talking to me, will you help me get there? Now, I'd have treated that very differently. I admire that sort of ambition. I admire people coming to me and saying, look, I want to really bust my ass to be successful here. What must I do? You're more experienced than me. Can you give me some pointers or guidance or give me a reading list or something, whatever. And I'd have been more than happy to help, even to say, well, look, as a spectator, do you want to sit in the meeting? Maybe it'll help. But no, she had to come from the attitude of, you're a damn white straight male, so you're not legitimate. Because the meeting is made up of straight white males, the only way to make it legitimate is if a low IQ, low energy female or non-straight white male attends. So I thought, no, I'm going to cut her some slack. So, okay, well, the meeting's in a couple of hours or a few hours. Here's the briefing notes. Here's the agenda. Here's the background to the thing here. These are the previous notes from the previous meetings about the project. There's a good hour plus worth of reading there. But if you're prepared to go through that and absorb that and comprehend it, then I'm happy to give you a go at the meeting. All right. So she's got a clear path if she wants to take it, to come along. She wasn't happy with that. Why do I have to work hard? Why do I have to put myself out? I'm entitled. And, the only reason you straight white males are there isn't because you're harder working or you've got better IQ or higher energy or you're prepared to take responsibility. None of things. It's because you're fucking fascist Nazi Hitlers. That's why you're at the meeting. And so she took the view that she had a moral right to be entitled to and to demand a seat at the table simply because she was a woman. Now, just looking at the woman herself, I don't think she's ever had to make a decision in her life, certainly not in the workplace. She's been a bureaucrat, mostly working with other women. She's obviously used to the idea of saying, of coming out, you're a misogynist, you're a Nazi, you're a racist, you're a fat. She's obviously used to using the name calling to get her way. And I think most men, if not all men, have just simply gone down like a sack of potatoes whenever she, misogynist, and they go, oh, yes, hey, you can have whatever you want. It's all yours. Yes, here it is, twice what you want. And I think that's how she's pretty much got away with it all her working life, and I would suggest through school as well, because she seemed genuinely shocked when I said, no, if you want to come to the meeting, you must contribute something. You must know what you're talking about. You get a seat at the table by knowing what you're doing and demonstrating competency and proficiency. And she seemed genuinely shocked when I came back at her with that, suggesting that if she's heard it before, it's rarely or even never heard it before. So anyway, she's my guess, sort of talking to her. She's someone who probably would have dropped, maybe got a junior high school diploma at best. I doubt she'd have made it through senior high school in a merit, anything resembling a merit system. So she's just got her, she's got all her, participation awards, those sorts of things. She's gone into senior high school. She's been waved through there, then waved through into university, where she's done some soft sociology course, and then was waved through into a degree. So someone who's received a lot of affirmation that is undeserved. She's not bright enough to, as I say, I doubt she'd have made it into senior high school in a real world of merit and competition. She then, because of the sociology, she then gets some job in HR type thing as some sort of a functionary, and just little girly bureaucrat. All girls would meet and pretend they're doing important things, and in reality, her attitude was that working and in business and it's just playing house. It's just another version of young girls playing house, which is what most HR departments are like. And so she had this view, and was not a high energy or a high IQ. I mean, if her IQ was even 100, that would be about the best. So I think as some sort of lower middle-level bureaucrat in HR is probably about the height of her career trajectory. But I don't think she's a lesbian. So anyway, that was the thing there. Now she turns up at the meeting. Clearly, she's not read any of the stuff I gave her, and the attitude was, "Well, I don't have to read it. You're a straight white male. You said to read it, but that's not legitimate. That's got no legitimacy. If you were a black lesbian, it would be legitimate, but you're not, and therefore." So any attempt to hold her to a meritorious standard of knowing what she's talking about, having read, having done the heavy lifting and done the hard work and put in the hard yards and so on, she viewed that as illegitimate. So anything that made her responsible, accountable to anything at all was not was considered to be just not legitimate. Therefore, she didn't have to do it. But to say to her, "Well, you must be held to a meritorious standard if you want to participate," then she could come up with the moral thing of, "Well, you're a fascist, you're a racist, you're a misogynist," and name call her way through, which again meant she didn't have to meet any objective standard. But I held firm on this and said, "Well, no, you've even had your chance here to read the stuff, and you haven't even read word one. So why are you now trying to barge into the meeting when it's so?" You got to picture the thing here. She started to look like a 10-year-old snot-nosed little girl who's been refused candy at the supermarket checkout. So she just sits there, blushing, sort of staring at the floor, eyes darting around, and arms folded, and so I said, "No, you have to leave, Shaniqua." I mean, she's a white girl, by the way, but you have to leave, Shaniqua. And again, though, if you want to attend these meetings, you know what you need to do. So, but she didn't see that. "Why do I have to go? Why do I have to go? Well, you're a fascist or something." And straight away it goes to that. Firstly, you're a boys' club, then you're a misogynist, now you're a fascist, and that's how these people get away with it. They just name call their way out of responsibility, accountability, and merit. That's how they do it. But I said, no, I'm not having that. You will make a contribution. Like a positive, knowledgeable contribution if you want to be at this meeting. And you can't even tell me why you want to be here, other than you think it's a boys' club and it's your right to barge your way in on some sort of fantasy of moral superiority. But all she did was act like some snot-nosed little punk kid. So eventually, she left on the verge of tears, by the way. but never at no stage did she take it. I mean, she could have just gracefully withdrawn and said, well, look, you're quite right. I don't have a real reason to be here, and I can't make a contribution to the discussions and the conversations. So, quite right. I mean, she could have easily had a way out there, but she decided to go right to the bitter end until it turned into a drama. Now, this is how these sort of people. And she's been an NGO activist in her early years. I don't think she was or is now, but well, there's no doubt she actually mentioned it. So she's been an NGO placard waving activist, climate change, all that crap. So she thinks she's got this right to morally lecture everyone else, particularly older straight white males, because as we all know, they're all Hitler. And so. But she was unprepared to make any of the effort. But this is how you only need to put one low IQ, low energy, ideological sort of juvenile, delinquent, idiot into any situation, whether it be a meeting or a business or a department or a division in a company. But what she wanted was that everyone would slow down. Everyone would become low IQ, everyone would become low energy, everyone would become dumbed down in order to allow her to fit in and be equal. The equity, the equality, the equal outcome. That's what she wanted, and that's what she was trying to achieve. I want all of you to slow down and stop and just be as dumb as I am, as stupid as I am, as low energy as I am, because that makes me feel good about myself. But if you don't let me do that, then you're all fucking Nazi Hitlers. And this is the worldview that so many of these people have, and a lot of them are being put up to it. I would suspect, I don't know, but I'd suspect some of the HR director thought, why don't we just do this? And that would be their way of undermining, all the meetings and so on. So, and anything else. So I think this undermining of the Western society at large, this is how they do it, or this is one of the ways that they do it. And instead, the option, they're obviously just on a mathematical probability basis. Obviously, some bright, hardworking, high energy women around that could have contributed and come to a meeting like that. Now maybe there's not as many as there are straight white males, but it doesn't matter. There are some out there. Why wasn't it them that tried to come to the meeting? Why was it a lazy, low IQ, morally superior little punk brat that tried to do it? So anyway, that's my view. You've been with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.